how do you see the role of technology evolving in the banking sector, and what policy levers do you think that we could use to help ensure that community banks can compete effectively in the new technology environment?
Well, I think it was very important. If I look, one of the biggest regulatory changes from the Biden administration to the Trump administration, there have been a lot of them, is our emphasis on AI and digital assets. AI in the Biden administration was governed by diffusion. They were going to treat it somewhat like the nuclear program, keep it in a box. They were going to hand it to Google, Microsoft, Meta, and that was life. On the other side, digital assets had a near extinction event with Wells notices going out to many companies, banks prohibited from opening accounts. And I think the fact that we're creating, the term is sandbox, where there's a lot of experimentation, where there are a lot more offerings, and for community banks not to be locked in that they have to use like one of 3 dominant service providers, that for a wider range, supply will push down price, choice will inform. Community bankers are, and the owners, whether they're family-owned banks, whether the shareholders are usually in the vicinity, and I think that they will be laser focused on the new technologies. And just like with the credit card companies, I think that new payment rails will exist, and I think we have to make sure that it's open for everybody. JP Morgan, Bank of America may have their own stable coin, but I think it's very easy, and you'll hear, you have 2 great participants, that you will hear that for community bankers to join together, whether it's in some kind of a cooperative program, whether, but you can private label these under your own name, and it doesn't necessarily have to increase deposit beta. The other thing we're going to do, because we value community banks, we are going to make sure that any new regulation is done in a safe, sound, and not abrupt manner. That there will be a transition and everyone will be able to understand it and participate in it.
Great. Well, I think that's wonderful news for all of our CEOs in the room and everyone listening virtually. I think it's important, as you said, that all banks can participate in this new economic environment, and that we're creating a framework that will allow for safe and sound engagement, as well as ensuring that whatever customers are interested in doing, that banks have that opportunity through a sandbox. That's an excellent idea, and it's great to go back to those ideas from the first Trump administration, where we were actively engaging with office hours, where we would bring in fintechs and bankers to talk about how they wanted to expand businesses in a way that was appropriate and met our expectations.
And I also think too, how many people in this room's first savings account was a Christmas club at the local bank? Right. So, are we going to develop the new kind of crypto Christmas club? I like that.
Well, that's an interesting idea, yeah.
CCC, Crypto Christmas Club. and because I do think one of the great things about crypto is it's bringing young people into the markets, into the financial industry, and I think that community banks that will be at the front line of providing that. You have a natural advantage in terms of going into the schools, in terms of financial education, in terms of financial literacy. I think Mickey's heard me tell the story. My deep, dark secret is that, and a lot of people from South Carolina have it, I have a Dr. Pepper every morning for breakfast. I'm not allowed to do it at home, so which used to take me to the Circle K on Meeting Street in Charleston, South Carolina. And in there, there'd be a lot of young construction workers getting ready to go to work. They'd see me dressed like this, and they'd be playing the lottery. They'd say, "Mister, when I win the lottery, will you manage my money? I said, well, the first thing you can do is not play the lottery. But imagine if that group that were involved in digital assets, if they've been putting that $20 of their hard-earned money from construction work, from their blue-collar jobs into digital assets over this time, and it's going to be community banks that do it. It's not going to be the big national banks. So, I think that to be able to cater to that audience is going to really provide opportunity for a lot of growth.